Welcome back to Until They Sleep. I'm Chantel.
And I'm Daniel.
He's being super silly right now.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Bonjour.
Ça va?
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
I'm out. See y'all later.
Okay.
Buongiorno.
On a serious note.
Welcome to another episode of Until They Sleep. I want to thank you all for the love and support we've been receiving on our social media platforms and for following us and for sending us messages and all your feedback. We appreciate it. If you are new to the podcast, we are Until They Sleep at Instagram. And also, why not? I'll give you my personal one. It's Get Scar at Instagram. Just for the heck of it.
Until They Sleep at gmail.com as well.
Yes. And there's a link in there also to follow our website if you want to listen to there, if you haven't found the perfect podcast provider for you.
Okay, now.
Let's get to it, to the family news.
You are being so silly. Okay, there's stuff that happened with the kids, but I really don't remember everything. And the kids say some random things in the car, and I tell myself, I got to remember that for the podcast, and then I forget. So, but I did want to share that we do listen to Never Gonna Give You Up almost every day in the car. And it's more because the kids just like to annoy each other with that song. So.
That's funny. It's funny that song's popular again. I thought I would never have to hear it again. I remember being a kid and it was everywhere.
Remember they call it Rickrolled? You've been Rickrolled or something is what they've been saying. They're like on whatever the kids are looking at.
I mean, it's catchy. I mean, I was on the gram and I saw the I can't remember. Is it Easy Van or I can't remember the guy's name, but he takes like songs and he makes them like all like norteños, like Tex-Mex stuff.
Yeah.
And I loved when he did that one.
Oh, he did that one.
Yeah, with the accordion and all that. Wow. And yeah, I enjoyed that. That was hilarious. I can see a couple like the old school little Mexican family parties and that comes up and everybody like all the
their jam
all drank and they start going to town on it, you know.
Yeah, the kids are going through like the gambit of music this week. Our 14-year-old at one point also put on classical music. He's talking about Bach and Beethoven and all this. I was like, what? Since when do you want to listen to that on the way to school? And I'm like, turn it off. I'm falling asleep. Granted, I love listening to that, but in the evenings when I'm trying to relax, not on my drive to school. We did have some crazy wind this week. Got hit by tumbleweeds, a lot of tumbleweeds.
Oh no, yeah. What was it Thursday on my way to work? I was like, damn, like I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. I was just waiting for like the Cowboys and all the spaghetti westerns to
Well, I know there's so many tumbleweeds. I was driving your car. I took your car to take the kids to school and I ran over a few tumbleweeds. Sorry if I scratched the car.
That's all right.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you live in the, what do we call it, the boonies?
Yeah, well, it's the commuter car. It's all right.
Yeah. The other thing that happened is our 6-year-old, she's in first grade and she's learning words. And she's really frustrated and having a hard time with the rule breakers. So, example, the word circle. Mom, why is it circle and not kirkle? And the word of. Mom, why is it of and not off? I was like, well, because there's another word off. But this one is technically also off, but we say of. And then one, the number one versus like I won something. She's super confused. She's like, well, but they're not, they don't follow the rules, Mom. Why don't they follow the rules? It's like, you just got to memorize these. Like, it's just the way it is. It's just the English language.
Yeah, it's complicated. I've gone down that rabbit hole when I'm driving sometimes, just thinking about words like that all sound the same, but are kind of spelled different and you use them in different contexts. It's awesome. It's frustrating. I remember when being dual language and learning, being so confused, especially because you go from reading in Spanish and then going in English and
she doesn't even have that problem, but just and our 10-year-old went through the same struggle. I think all the kids did. They all had that struggle where it's like, but the rule is this, and this word doesn't follow that rule. And then it's just kind of telling them you just have to remember that it's different.
It's a hard one. Yeah, it's a hard one. I get it.
I've definitely struggled keeping up.
I think it was with our second one that we had the hardest time because his mentality, the way that he overanalyzes everything and how he sees
Yes.
things. I
Yes.
remember he used to get frustrated when he was like in kindergarten and first grade. He
Yeah.
was just like, "This doesn't make sense. So stupid."
Yeah, he would get really mad, very, very frustrated.
He used to have a
S-
horrible short fuse. I remember that.
Well,
I used to call him
our
Little Scar. Yeah, I remember Little
yes,
Scar
yeah, and his anxiety goes through the roof sometimes.
because it was
Yeah.
like the little mini Hulk. It's just
Yeah. It was really bad with him. And our 6-year-old, it's not as bad with her, but she gets, but mom, why are there so many rule breakers? I don't know if anybody else has had this struggle trying to teach their kids English.
I'm sure every parent
I
has had
mean,
that.
it's just, and it's true. It's just, you just have to tell them that's just the way the word is. You just have to remember that that word is different. And that's it. Like, there's no other explaining it. But that's what's going on with the kids. So
I had a pretty crazy week.
you did?
Yeah, it wasn't a great week.
I'm
Been a
sorry.
little frustrated. I had a lot of crap going on. I need some therapy.
You need therapy? This
need
is supposed to be
therapy.
therapy.
A different type of therapy.
Oh, yeah, because, yeah, you can't talk about all that here.
Maybe I should just go for a long run and then die for like the rest of the week because I overdid it, or go to a shooting range or something like that. Hit a punching bag if I could. I mean, I messed up my shoulder somehow, some weird way, and I'm in so much pain.
I think it's just because you're getting older.
It is getting old sucks. I admit it. I remember once you hit 30, every 5 years something comes up. New
Yeah,
discoveries.
he hurt his shoulder randomly. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And he's been in a lot of pain with his shoulder. He felt like he tore something. But if you tore something, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just have to wait for it to heal. You said it felt like when you crashed your motorcycle.
Yeah, I felt like that when I went inside that. Yeah, that tailgate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
felt like that.
that's a story for another time.
Yeah.
Motorcycles,
It doesn't
do's
feel
and
great.
don'ts.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. It feels weird. It's more frustrating because usually like with injuries, sometimes you think oh, it's so minor. It's like a little, I don't know, like a little knee muscle or a little shoulder muscle or elbow or like a finger or pinky. You're like, oh, it's no big deal. And then as you're going on and you try to do things, you realize how much you rely on that and how much like
And it's your
it gets
right
used.
shoulder.
Oh, yeah, man, that sucks. I feel so useless. Again, I can't do anything. I mean, just driving home after work, I was in pain. Forget.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I know you got some frustrations and news about stuff going on in the house. Please share.
We're fostering a puppy. I guess 9-week-old now. Puppy. Oh, I thought I was done with puppies.
Just that I was out.
I
Pull me
know.
right back
They
in.
pulled me right back in. So I had, I guess, a family member had a puppy, and my mom decided she was going to help rescue it from whatever situation it was in. So she brought it home.
Family and friends, stop making us a token family to bring in your unwanted pets.
Yeah.
I know we love animals, but come on.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's because at the beginning of last year, 2022, we adopted 2 kittens.
Well, we adopted a cat.
We adopted 1 cat.
The other one was supposed to be
We were
fostered.
supposed to foster the second one because it was a one-eyed kitty, and it turned into an adoption. And a month after that, we ended up adopting a puppy that was stranded on one of my brother's properties.
Yeah.
And we had talked about adopting a puppy, but decided after getting the kittens that we were going to hold off on that. But lo and behold, here's a puppy. So last year,
No, that was my fault because, I mean, I don't know. Maybe your brother knew automatically what to do. He sent me a picture of the puppy's paw, and that was it for me. I was like, oh, and it's a brindle. I always wanted a brindle. I'll be there on Saturday to pick it up. It was a Thursday morning. I'll never forget it.
So we had 2 kittens, roughly 4 and 6 months old. And then a month later, we had a puppy that was 4 months old. So that was my 2022 plus 4 kids. And now we have an 9-week-old puppy. Yay me.
Yeah.
Yay life.
I knew it was going to be an issue when you called me and kind of forewarned me when I got home that there was going to be a puppy here. And I was like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry. That's another thing that you're going to have to deal with because on my schedule.
Well, and that's the thing is like fostering, right? We was like, we've always talked about fostering pets. And fortunately for her, right, we ended up keeping the one-eyed kitty that we were fostering. But with this puppy, now there's like, you guys are naming him, and I'm like, don't get attached.
I
I
show
don't
up
want it.
and there's this beautiful fur ball right there that it's, I guess, half German Shepherd,
Yeah, it's
half
a German,
Husky.
it's a Shusky or something, German Shepherd and Husky.
Shusky, yes, hilarious. Shusky.
Whatever they're called, yeah.
What? But it's so cute, and I'm looking at this damn thing, and I'm like, oh, he looks like a raccoon.
Yes.
So,
And then he names him.
looks like calling him Rocket.
And I said, don't name him.
But it worked out because it was supposed to be only like for 2-3 days, and
I
here we
know.
are a week and a half later, and he's still here.
Well, yeah, but that's because now he has all these issues and he can't go where he was supposed to go until those issues are resolved.
Yeah,
And now we're
if-
stuck dealing with the
If
issues.
only they would have taken him to the vet before he came here, we wouldn't have to deal with these issues.
Well, and whoever they got him from, I mean, that was the response. And this is the thing,
Look.
people, please don't breed dogs. That's my thing
Well,
right
be
now.
responsible.
Do
You're gonna
not breed dogs if you're not going to be responsible for them, because it's no fun when people go and try to help and they've got to deal with all these medical issues that you're just trying to help out and helping out.
Yeah, we love pets.
We love 'em.
I have a big,
But
we
come
have
on,
big hearts,
people,
but
be more responsible.
It breaks my heart to see all these animals that are just waiting to get adopted, and they're waiting for a forever home. I mean, it's kind of like what happened with the cat. If it
Oh
was
my
up to us,
gosh.
we would adopt as many as we could. I mean, I wish I could have a big, humongous ranch and just have it full of animals, but it's just like, and I at moments I'm like, I think we have a new family member, and at moments I'm like, oh, no, we just our puppy just hit a year, and now we're like talking about another one that's only 8-9 weeks old, and I'm
I
like
mean, the
starting
kids
all
all
over again.
the kids seem all for it, but I'm constantly reminding them of the wonderful chores attached to having pets.
Okay, so now that you say that, right? So that's I want to talk about that. I want to talk about chores because I got the phone call. One time I called you, and you were like, "I can't wait for this dog to, like
Be gone.
be picked up and and find a good home for him." And I was like, "Yeah," and I have our 6-year-old and our 10-year-old. And like, can we please keep him? He's so cute. He's adorable.
Yeah, but
And I'm like,
all babies are adorable.
Yeah, and that's conversation that I ended up having with them, and I was starting, and I think they were pretty surprised that I was kind of like, no, like he's gonna go away. We have this dog, we have the cats, and we have another older dog.
And we have a snake no one takes care of either.
Yeah, and I'm like, and you guys have chores, and you guys have neglected them, and they're not doing your job, and you want to bring in another one for your mom because you guys are promising me that I'll take care of him, I'll clean the poop, I'll feed him. I was like, but no, you won't. You'll
They
starve
promised
for a
that
day or
with
two.
the others.
Yeah, and then they'll work off. So I figured, you know what? Because they were promising all that stuff, and now that you took put the puppy to the vet, and we found out that it has to be on meds, and it's gonna be a while before we
now
can
our
send
dogs
them
have to be on meds.
Yeah.
and-
So, but I noticed that now they're taking it for granted, and the chores have stopped. They were all great about it the first couple of days, and they were cleaning pee, and they were, getting pee pads, and they were trying to prove to me that, yeah, Dad, look at us. Oh, we can handle this. We can do this. We'll keep our word. And now here we are a few days after that, and shit's not getting done.
Yeah.
So it took me down a rabbit hole. I started thinking about stuff, and I started wondering about, like, my childhood and my chores. And I had chores at my dad's house, and it was expected to be done by a certain time, and it would get inspected. It was very, like, I would say very military based, they'd come in, it's like, that's not sweeping, look at this, you missed this, you missed that. Or I would have room inspections and stuff like that, and there were certain things that had to be done, like I said, by a certain time, and it just started, it made me think about, like, well, is that one of the things that's wrong with society nowadays? Like, parents don't make their kids do chores or follow up on them.
I mean, you give me crap, but you're not here
You
to hear
have
me.
So much on your plate sometimes that
No.
I feel bad that
But
I'm like, the boys are old enough that
But
they should be doing this shit. I mean, me at their age, nobody did anything for me. So I kind
Yeah,
of expect that from them. Like they should be doing their own stuff already.
but you're not here and you don't hear how many times I repeat myself. So, unlike
I
those,
mean, I hear it just the times that I'm here. I hear enough, and it's like, but that's the other thing that makes me get frustrated because I have to step in or I have to say something, and they do it.
yeah, they do it immediately the moment you say something.
But sometimes they do it half-assed, you know. Like so, I have to. I feel like I have to go check up on how they did it.
Yeah. And I don't have time to be checking on
Oh no, of
how
course
well
not.
they did something. Like I'll remind them to do their chores, and a part of me is like I should go inspect that afterwards, but I don't have time to do that. So I don't go inspect it, and then I'm yelling at them later when I realize they didn't do it right.
Yeah, I honestly like it made me think. It made me start thinking about it, and I also got frustrated because during the week, you know, like I tell both our boys like one of you has to get the trash and one of you has to get the recycling out, and I even made it easy for them to put the trash can somewhere it's accessible for them as they're going to the car to go to school, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
expect it to be done. I don't know, every morning, every other morning if it has to be done. And when I wake up and I'm in the kitchen and I end up doing their chores, like it really pisses me off. A lot of times I don't do it, and I'm like, okay, mental note, it needs to be done. They haven't done it. Let's see how
Mm-hmm.
long it takes, right? Or if I ask them to do something, and a day passes or 2 days, and what I've asked them is still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating. But I hate it because I have to be the bad guy. You know, I have to raise my voice. I have to be upset. I have to like rip them a new one. It makes me like I hate it because I was like I don't see you guys, and then now when I'm seeing you, I'm ripping you a new one.
Well, I'm always the bad guy because I'm always reminding them of what needs to be done.
Yeah, yeah. It's just frustrated me. So I started thinking about it, and I started asking guys at work. You know, I was like, hey, did you do chores when you were a kid? And then you know, like, do your kids do chores? You know, like, and I've noticed that I think our generation pretty much is the last ones that had a lot of chores.
Yeah, I guess I agree with you. I mean, I have a few friends that, I've asked them, do their kids have chores? And then, I'll see some of my friends post like, oh, my kid's working in the yard, or I made my kid do this, or I made my kid help me with that, or their job is what XYZ thing. And then I've got other friends who are like, no, I kind of do everything for them. So,
I
I mean,
I mean, there have been times when I know like I'm doing stuff around the house, and you're like, hey, boys, go out and help your dad, you know.
mhm.
And then I'm like, nah, I don't want you guys' help. I want it done right, so I'll do it. And then I start thinking about it. It's like, nah, no, fuck it. They should be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, it's the only way they learn. Like, I remember growing up, my chores were to sweep and the dishes. Those were my chores. I was the dishwasher, and I hated washing dishes because there was six of us, so there was
Dishwasher.
there was a lot of dishes to wash. But I remember many, 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 many times just standing there, staring out the little window, off in La La Land,
Daydreaming about doing
daydreaming about
something
something else.
else.
Yeah, exactly.
So you swept,
And I swept. And if I
and
didn't sweep right, my dad was on me like, this, I didn't teach you to sweep like that. You have to do it. And my dad literally would stand there and show me how he wanted the sweeping done.
right. I had the same
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
So those were my two chores, basically, growing up.
All right, you ready for this one? I had responsibilities for myself, but I also had some chores that I had to do around the house. Um, my dad's house didn't really have like grass or dirt.
You
It
had
had
cement.
yeah, it was all cement. There's a lot of like areas for flowers and stuff like that he had, and water fountain and all this crap, trees. But I had to sweep all that every morning, and we had dogs, okay, so I had to clean the poop and I had to wash the floor. I had to take out the trash. I had to make my own breakfast. I had to pack my lunch. I had to wash all the dishes that I got dirty. And then on the weekends, it was my room inspection time. So you know, my bed had to be made by 8 in the morning. My clothes had to be all nice and organized and color coordinated. And he would check my drawers to make sure that everything was folded the way he wanted it. And then at the same time, it was Sundays was usually my laundry day. So to this day, I like to do it my laundry day. That's just the way I'm programmed. And on top of that, also on the weekends, I had to wash my dad's car. So the work car got done on Saturdays, but also after that, I had to wash his personal car because Papa had to go cruise around on the weekends. Had to look all nice and
You
fresh and
definitely
clean.
had a lot more than I did. But I also had not room inspections, but I remember my dad teaching us how he wanted the bed made.
Oh, my,
And yeah, military status back then where the edges had to be tucked in, it had to be
yeah.
folded perfect.
Oh, my dad would flip my
Everything
fucking
was
bed
like
if it wasn't done right.
my dad didn't go that extreme, but
Uh-oh.
if he didn't like it, he would make us
Oh
redo
no,
it.
my dad would like, nope, and it just, and the
And
same thing with the drawers. Like he would open it, it's like, oh, there's underwears on
yeah,
folded right, dump them
folding.
out.
My dad was also the one who was big on folding clothes. Like it wasn't even my mom who was, a stickler about how we folded our clothes. My dad would like make us all sit there. Well, I don't remember all of us. I remember myself and I think my brother after me sit there, and he would make us fold our clothes. We had to like straighten it out and then fold like the sleeves in and then fold it over, and it had to like get folded into three, and so it all fit nicely into the drawers. It was my dad. My dad was a stickler on all
I
that.
forgot. Oh,
And
that
we
hurt my
don't-
shoulder. I had to scratch my dad's feet every night too.
I didn't have to do
I had to
that.
go out there and like rub them. And
Oh,
shit,
no,
give him a
I
foot
didn't have to do
massage
that.
and get, like, he had like the special comb. I had to scratch his feet, because he worked construction, so his feet were all tired. And
But that's
I had
because
to
you were
do
the
that.
baby. I think
Yeah, I had to
that's
do
why you
that.
got all that stuff.
I mean, I didn't mind. I mean, it gave me, it helped me manage my time and know what to expect. And, if I didn't do it right, yeah, I got heckled or, clowned on me or, I hated the, like, oh, this is not swept. Maybe my stepmom would do is like, mira, mira, and mira. And then, to me, my floor was so clean. And then all of a sudden she had like a pile of dirt. And I was like, how the hell does she do that?
It was like in the broom. She's
Yeah.
like shaking it off.
I was like,
I know
damn.
my parents were not that bad, but there definitely were chores and expectations. And honestly, I had more chores than my brothers because I was the girl and I was the eldest. So I was expected to help around the house more than they were.
Well, my stepmom, she made sure I followed my chores a lot, and she made sure that I would, help with the dishes, and she actually did kind of teach me like the whole laundry and folding, but her mentality was like, women nowadays are like the women of your era are not gonna know how to cook or do none of this stuff, so I'm just gonna get you ready.
To
And
do
then-
it yourself.
Yeah, and then at the same time, she was like, and I have a feeling you're gonna be a bachelor for a long time.
Well, I'm happy you know how to cook because I don't like to cook.
I loved since I was a kid. I loved being in the kitchen. I love learning how to cook. I did. I actually enjoyed it.
But when it comes to our kids,
I mean, they have it easy.
what
in my
do
mind,
what do we have them do?
I mean, honestly, the only things that I ask for is have your room clean, and this, I'm not gonna, be like my dad. It's just have it clean, do your laundry, put your clothes away, right? Take out the trash, and clean up some dog poop. And every once in a while, I might ask you to sweep or, vacuum or something.
Well,
I had a vacuum too. Forgot about it.
We had vacuuming too, but so like our 14-year-old, right? His chores are to clean up the dog poop in the backyard, to wash the dishes, take out the trash. He cleans their bathroom, and he's also supposed to keep his half of the room clean.
And he never does.
That latter one, he definitely never does. And everything else is like pulling teeth.
Yeah. And the
Or-
bathroom, you know what? He's really freaking good at cleaning the bathroom.
And the car.
But he only does it when people are coming over. I say, hey, your uncle's coming over, or people coming,
Yeah.
and he'll clean the crap out of that bathroom.
His
It's like,
OCD kicks in.
yeah, I'm like,
He
damn, good
does
job,
a real good
dude.
job. Yeah. But yes, you're right. He only does it then. But the other chores are like, dude, you haven't picked a poop in the backyard for 3 days or 4 days.
Oh no, there's times when I get home, it'll be after midnight, and I go out there. Sometimes the dogs want to go out, so I take them out, and I'm just looking at mines out there, and I start picking them up myself, and it really pisses me off.
And that's
'cause-
only with 2 dogs, and they want another one.
So that's the thing, like. I just kind of like I get it's frustrating because if they don't listen to you, right, and they expect all these things, right, like oh yeah, my phone and all my video games and all the TV in my room,
I want to go hang out with my friends.
whatever it is, right? I mean, imagine all the parents go through this.
They want all these things
And
But they're not completing what they're supposed to do at
yeah,
home.
and then they get mad if they're like all like, oh well, I want this. Why aren't you getting it for me? It's like, well, shit, you're not doing your chores. Like you
Yeah.
don't deserve anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get it. As parents, we want to give our kids everything that we didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I spoil them at times, but at the same time, like whenever they do what they're supposed to and they're helpful
Mm-hmm.
and they do get in school, I have no problem getting them
Rewarding
stuff.
them.
Yeah, rewarding them. But when I keep on continuously seeing that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing or what I've asked them to do it, then why am I the bad guy for not rewarding them? And then they're just throwing tantrums or being like, little moody brats about it.
Well, and that's like another question, right? So there's people who say you shouldn't reward, things that a kid should do anyways. Like we've had that discussion where, like I've said, okay, well, let's give them an allowance for doing things. You're like, no, I shouldn't have to pay them for doing their chores.
I'm really against allowance.
Yeah, or even any of those prizes, like the whole prize idea. Like, oh, okay, if they do all this stuff, then they can get a prize at the end of the month. You've told me, like, no, that's still paying them.
Yeah, I mean, you've done cool stuff, like trying to get them motivated. I remember you were doing that whole points thing, like
Yeah,
that
the
board,
coins.
the coins.
Like, they each had their own color coin.
Yeah, and then at the end of the month, whoever had the most would get to pick, whatever at Target, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell them it was like a $30, $20,
Or
limit
sometimes I
something.
would buy something like one time I bought like a wood burning kit or.
Oh yeah, you had those prizes.
Yeah,
that's
I would
right.
have prizes lined up for them. Like, all right, whoever wins at the end of the month gets this. And, then they would basically motivate to fight for it. But I mean, that only was between the boys really because they're the only ones old enough for those things.
But the girls tried.
Yeah, that's true.
Even the youngest one, she was a baby, and she was like, daddy, da 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 da, me. I was like,
Yeah.
well, daddy did this.
And we don't. Oh, and we didn't talk about the 10-year-old, right? What are his chores? He has to take out the. He has to feed the cats. Oh, we also forgot feeding the dogs. So the eldest one also has to feed the dogs.
Oh yeah,
But the 10-year-old has to feed the cats.
right,
He has to take out the recycling.
right,
And he has to set the table
and clean it.
and clean the table. And that's real. And keep his room clean.
Yeah,
That's all he really has to. That's the expectation from him, right? And he is better. He was better about it, and he's gotten really lax. And you know why he's really lax now? Because he got the dang switch.
oh,
Ever since he got that dang switch, he forgets what his chores are. And then what do? I take it away, and then he's real quick to do things so he can get right back on it.
well, the thing with him is this: if I remind him, I was like, hey, what's your chore, right? What are you supposed to do right now? Oh yeah, I'll get the table.
He does it
Right.
immediately.
He does it on the spot. So, in that aspect, I'll give him credit on that one. Like, I might have to remind him, but he gets to it quick. I don't have to raise my voice. I don't have to scream. I don't have to be upset. Like, he gets to it fast. The other is like, hey, what are you supposed to do?
He does it on his
Oh,
own time.
yeah. Oh, okay.
10 minutes
Hey,
later.
what happened?
Yeah.
When did you tell me? I don't remember.
Yeah, because he's not really listening. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. That it is also a difference in personalities, right? Because the older one, he's just in that whatever mode, and the younger one, I think he's more of a people pleaser, and he
Yeah.
wants to please us, immediate gratification.
I mean, but I'll give credit to the younger one. I mean, in the mornings, he's the first one up.
He is the first one up.
And he sometimes makes breakfast, and he wants to help you out.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll give him credit on that aspect. Like, we're not people are asking him, he's going that extra. He gives that extra push. So that's why.
Sometimes.
But still, it's more than I've ever seen.
Then we're getting
the
from the
other one.
14-year-old.
Now we have our 6-year-old, and now she wants to clean poop.
Yeah, she does, and I don't want her to do that yet.
No.
But she wants
I mean,
to.
I did do it at her age already.
She
so
wants
I
to
don't see
wash
why not.
dishes.
Yeah.
She's over there on her tippy toes trying to wash dishes.
She washes her plate.
Yeah, she washes her own plate, and then she wants to help cook.
Plastic plate.
What?
It's a plastic plate.
Yes,
It's just,
yes.
in case you're,
They have plastic plates, so they don't break
the
anything.
little ones, because Butterfingers,
And then she wants to help in general. Like she'll be, oh, mom, I can do it. I can help. Which I appreciate, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna go away pretty soon.
So I decided to go on my damn personal Instagram, and I posted because I was curious, and I was like, "Hey, did you guys do chores?" And I was amazed at how many freaking people saw the story, but yet nobody wanted to answer this shit. It was like 4 people total answered each question, and about like 43 people saw it, which is funny.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right.
So either they don't make their kids do chores, or
That's what
they
it is.
didn't do chores.
They didn't want to say no. You know, they like the people that did actually have chores. They're like, yeah, I had chores growing up, and then at the same time, I would say those people don't have kids yet.
Well, yeah, there's a lot.
But all the other ones that I saw the story, they have kids, and they didn't answer. So that tells me that
most likely,
no, yeah, they don't. I know they don't. I will bet that they probably don't. And I think 1 or 2 of my friends that didn't answer is because their kids are already grown ups.
Yeah,
and they're probably out of the house by now.
Yeah.
So then it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, chores. Definitely, I believe kids need chores. You need to have that sense of responsibility. So like with the puppy, right? Now there's, when we had the kittens and then when we got our 1-year-old, now the kids were like, okay, these are the rules. Like now we have these extra mouths to feed, these extra creatures to take care of. You know, that's where all this poop and feeding the cats and all this stuff came up, right? Feeding the dogs. Now there's one more puppy in the house. Granted, we're only supposed to be fostering him. He is supposed to leave less than 14 days at this point. But, you know, there's pee pads to clean up. There's pee puddles that he does. There's ripping toys and chewing on things and watching him to make sure he doesn't eat something he's not supposed to. Plus making sure he eats on time and his medication. And the kids.
And then we had a reaction for the medication too.
Yeah, that nobody knew about it. No, everybody slept right through that. Only mom was up taking care of that.
Oh, so, I heard you in the middle of the night.
But you didn't know what was going on.
No.
You heard me, but you didn't know what was going on. So the whole point being that the kids, I'm really on top of them right now with, okay, the puppy needs this, the puppy needs that, the puppy needs this, the puppy needs that, because I can't do everything.
Yeah, and that was my thing. That's part of the reason why I didn't want it and like to be here, because that's more like I said, we have a 1-year-old puppy that is gigantic, and he's just gonna start growing even more now because he's just turned 1. And you're already like, and you hate him because he drools everywhere.
I hate the drool. And you won't let me get him fixed. That's another issue. And then the kids, like I said, want this puppy to stay. And I'm like, I'm not going to have 2 male dogs that aren't fixed, plus a Great Dane.
Yeah. So no, it's crazy. Here's my thing about chores, right? So I've been thinking about it, and it's like kids expect so much, right? And we were talking about allowance, right? Mm-hmm. Remember when our son came home one day and he was started with this whole, my friends are getting iWatches and what is it? The Android watch too, right? The Samsung watch or whatever.
Yeah. Wasn't that was a long time ago. Yeah.
And he was like, Can I get one? I was like, No, you don't need that fancy stuff for school. I mean, you're like what, 5th grade at the time? Mm-hmm. Hell no, man. I don't have that. You don't need it. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, trying to fit in, trying to be the cool kid at school, Oh, but I want one, I want one. I was like, well, you should give me an allowance and I'll start saving my money to buy my own. And I immediately, I don't know, the ghetto part of me, dude, you don't get that. I'm not going to buy you that much. I'm not going to spend money on like that on you. I know you're not going to take care of it. It's just to show off. You're not going to take care of it. You don't take care of them shoes that I buy you, and I buy you expensive shoes.
Which I've never understood why.
And I was like, and you're not going to, well, I mean, expensive, yeah, for you. I mean, for me, they're average price. But I'm like, dude, come on. You're not going to take care of the phone or the watch or whatever now. And he's with this whole, I want to allow us to start saving or whatever. And I'm like, hey, man, remember how my joke to this day, he loves it. I was like, I'll allow you to sleep in my house. I allow you to use my hot water. I allow you to eat my food. I allow you to, use my internet. I allow you to use my TV. I allow you to use my. I was like, all that costs money, right? Like that's all money right there. So there's your allowance. Then I told him, as he got older, he brought it up again. And he's
he's brought it up a couple times.
He's like, hey, Dad, don't start with the jokes. I was like, all right, let me put it to you in simple and another way for you to understand now that you're older and you're a man. I was like, think about it this way. You have these chores, right? Let's say dog poop, trash, like dishes, clean your room, clean. It's like you do that every day. I'll give you $1 per each chore, right? So there's a possibility for you to make $5 a day. Let's say that. right? By Sunday, you would have what, $35, which is not bad. Maybe go watch a movie, eat some popcorn or whatever. $35 on an allowance. I think that sounds like a lot for most people.
I mean, for me, that would have been huge.
Yeah. That's about average for me, I guess, for my dad.
I know you say you grew up ghetto, but the things you say, I'm like, you did not. I grew up more ghetto than
when
you.
I lived with my dad, it was different, but I was by myself. You had three other siblings.
I had 3 other siblings.
I was by myself. All my siblings were already grown up and they had kids, right? So it's just me by myself.
Spoiled baby boy.
But when I got my allowance, I mean, I busted my ass for all the work that I did in my house.
You did do a lot of work.
And when I got my allowance, it was like my dad's kind of like, well, you deserved it. You done good, And that allowance, I actually managed it to buy my bus pass, my snacks for the week, if I wanted something, or drinks. So, dollar menu McDonald's. So that's kind of like it was all in one, Like it was all inclusive. My dad was like, oh, you're going to need this for your bus pass or your bus ride or your trolley or whatever, right? Because I didn't have a car. Nobody drove me to school. I had to do that myself. So there's the difference, And so I break it down to him that way. It's like, you can make that money, but you got to show me that you earned it. And does he try?
No, not at all.
Hell no. The room still it's never picked up. It's not made.
It's just a bedroom, Mom.
I got to remind him to do, what's my rule? On Sunday, nobody washes clothes because that's my day to do my laundry.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want you to do my laundry because you already do the girls, you do yours, and you try to do the boys. That's a lot. I told you, stop doing the boys' laundry. They're old enough, they can do it. I can do mine too, right? That's 3 things less that you had, that less stress on you. And I say don't do it on Sundays because that's my day, and everybody's doing laundry on damn Sundays.
Yeah, because they all like, oh yeah, I don't have pants for the week, or I don't have uniforms for the week, and I'm like, you guys were supposed to do that yesterday. You had all day Saturday.
Yeah, Friday,
and
they had
all
Thursday,
day during the week, every weekday to put your stuff together. And I buy them a hamper, right? They have a hamper.
And the clothes still don't make it to the damn hamper.
And I told them, I said, the moment this hamper gets full, you guys go do your laundry.
But they end up throwing this shit around the hamper.
Yeah. Their clothes is overflowing and all around the hamper. And I'm sure there's parents out there who are like, oh no, then you have to go in there and do it. No, my boys are old enough. They have been taught how to use the washing machine and the dryer.
So their
clothes is dirty and stinky.
They used to have their own rooms, and now they're sharing a room because they couldn't keep it clean. So I was like, oh, maybe we put them together. They'll pick it up, and they'll get on each other and be like, hey, pick up this, pick up that. Yeah, that backfired.
That didn't work.
It's the same thing, but it's just combined.
And now they want their own rooms again, and we're all like, no.
Yeah,
you guys got joined together because you couldn't keep your rooms clean, and now you can't even keep this room clean.
Yeah, I keep on telling them, I was like, do it, and you'll get your own rooms. Like, show me that you can keep your rooms clean, and I'll be more than happy to separate you guys.
And they don't. They're still not doing it, so they clearly must not want their own rooms that badly.
And they must not want an allowance.
Yeah.
Trip out on this, right? So you know how we talked about step parents on one of our episodes?
Yes.
So imagine like what they have to go through.
Who, the stepkids?
Yeah, no, the step parents.
Step-parent. Oh, forget about it. I never got the girls to do stuff.
I mean, we got our kids, and
yeah.
we can't get them to do their shit. Imagine somebody that's like,
So your eldest, she never wanted to do anything. I mean, there was a reason they stopped coming over because they had chores. I mean, I would ask them to help with things. Your younger one, she was extremely helpful when she was little. Like,
yeah.
She wanted to help do everything. She was a lot like our 6-year-old and her are a lot alike, where they want to help with everything. But the eldest, I remember she would just sit there watching TV. The moment we would go get groceries, she would run inside, sit on the couch, turn on the TV. And the younger one was over there helping me take the groceries out of the car. And she was like 5.
The handicapped one.
The handicapped one would help me get the groceries out of the car. And the eldest would just watch TV. No, and it's just in her personality. Like, just wasn't in her to assist, But as a stepmom, I couldn't say anything or do anything because I would get told later that I couldn't make them do things. So,
yeah, see, well,
And with my own kids, I still
I
can't
had
even
your
make them
back.
do anything.
I know I had your back on everything, but I know sometimes, there's. I mean, you do it sometimes with the oldest one. I mean, that's my joke with the oldest one is like, oh, that's your baby. You can't joke about him because you're like defend him
But
and
you're
jump up,
not
and we're like.
here. Like, you're not
But when
here.
I start scolding him and ripping him a new one and like being strict with him, you're like, oh, you don't have to be like that with him or whatever. Not. But I bet you, but when I do it the other one, you're like, I don't hear a beep. But
When I don't understand what you're talking about, because I get when you get there's a certain level of anger that you get where I'm like, hey, you need to
well, yeah,
pull it back.
because one's 4 years older than the other one, so of course I'm gonna be more frustrated with the older one because I expect more. He should know more. He's older. He should be doing that stuff. You're 14, gonna be 15. Like, I mean, you don't call me in the bathroom to wipe your ass, so it's like you already know. You should already know how to do it, right? You should already know how things are expected
It's
to be
true.
done.
It's true.
So then you're 14 already. You already know what your chores are. You know what's expected from you.
They all do.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I know with a 10-year-old, he should be too, but like
He's still
you're
10.
kind of like, oh, you're 10. Like the 14-year-old might help him or whatever, not
And that does
or he's
sometimes
still
happen.
learning.
Oh, and the 14-year-old, if you ask them to do things together,
He'll kick him out.
he'll kick him out because he's like, you don't know what you're doing. I'll just do it. But that's his OCD kicking in because he wants to do a better job than his brother. So, again, I don't know. It's extremely frustrating. It's extremely difficult because I don't want to have to threaten them every time. I don't also want to have to reward them with money for things that they should just have to do.
Look, I want to say is like, okay, you had all your chores, right? Growing up.
Yeah.
I had chores growing up.
Yeah.
And like I told you what mine were and what was expected from me growing up. When I got to boot camp, that shit was cakewalk. It was so easy. I was like, oh man, you guys are so laid back. My dad was way tougher than this, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
I remember you telling me that.
I gave lessons on how to iron, how to wash clothes, how to fold. Like I had a couple buddies. I was teaching them.
Yeah, I remember you told me.
Shining shoes.
You told
like,
me.
like
And you've tried to teach the boys how to clean their shoes. You got them their little
their
kit,
kiwi kit.
their kiwi
Yeah.
kit, and you have them sit there and you did a little lesson on how to shine their boots and stuff like that. I guess
So
I
I'm
mean
just saying.
what's right though? Like, are we supposed to reward them for these things? Or are we correct in saying no, they should not have to be rewarded for things that are just expected as part of a family unit, right? We're a family.
Yeah.
We're a unit. We
We're a
work
tribe.
together.
It's
We're a tribe,
It's tribe
right?
mentality,
Everybody
right? Everybody has a tribe, right? You got
everybody has
the
it,
pickers,
exactly.
you got the hunters, right?
Right.
You got
Everybody's got their job to do to make this work, right?
right.
To make it successful so everyone's happy, so things are clean. So is it wrong to pay them? Is it wrong to give them an incentive? Or are we correct in thinking this is our tribe? Your payment is that we're all in this together and we're a happy family unit.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a 50-50 on that one, right? I mean, I'm sure each one has its benefits and pros and cons. But I don't think that, you should be praising them because they do something that they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, in the long
it's
run,
true.
we're raising them to be humans, right? We're getting them ready to be adults. We're not going to be around all the time.
No.
They're going to leave the house one day. And what good are they going to be if they can't cook for themselves, if they don't know how to wash their laundry, if they don't know, I mean, they don't care about, the cleaning their bathroom. They don't know how to, like the routine of taking out the trash every day. Because you imagine they leave it there a week and how bad the house is going to stink.
In the summer, maggots come out. Ew.
Exactly, right? But when you start getting programmed a certain way of doing things and what you expect, yeah, sure. It's like, hey, I got to wake up. I mean, because even at work, right? Like now as grown-ups, we have a routine. We know, I got to get up by this time. I got to be ready by this time.
And I got to get all these things done before then.
It, yeah. And then it takes me this long to get to work. So, boom, I'm going to be, I got to make it. It's kind of like chores, right?
Yeah, the routine is you wake up in the morning, you get ready, you feed the dogs before we eat so that they can go out before we leave. And that sometimes is like, hey, did you feed the dogs? Like, we're literally walking out the door. Have they been fed yet? Did you remember to feed the cats? And it's like, oh no, I forgot. And now we're running late because everyone's scrambling to, give them fresh water or feed them. And that's frustrating.
Yeah, I think the pets is one of the main ones because you're taking responsibility of another living
Another
creature,
life.
yeah, another life. Yeah.
And our 4-year-old, I mean, she helps with the recycling,
Oh
right?
no, she's helpful with everything. She
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
help out
But I
with it.
mean,
But they all go through
chore-wise,
that phase, right? Like
yeah,
you
that's
said, when
true.
they're little, they all want to help out. They want to do something, and then something happens around 8, 9, where they're like, eh. I
I'm
mean,
gonna blame their friends.
so I wonder if it's an argument between parents.
I imagine so, because even we disagree on the chores sometimes. Like, you want things done a certain way, or you want them to do certain things.
The way I see them doing it in my head, not the way they're.
I mean, I can sympathize with that because it's the same thing where I'll be like, hey, can you guys please help me mop or sweep? And then I'm watching them do it in the corner of my eye. I'm like, no, 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 forget it. Go away, go away, go away. I'll just do it. Or even with the washing the dishes, right? So our dishwasher just broke, right? So it's like, okay, you guys need to wash the dishes. There's no dishwasher, no machine to do it for you.
No machine. The dishwashers are fine.
Oh, well, because you say we humans are the dishwashers, but the machine is broken. And I am actually against dishwasher machines, right? I'm those crazy ladies that don't like dishwashing
Hey,
machines.
I grew up without dishwashing.
I grew up with
machine.
that one too, but anyways, we haven't, we're waiting for our home warranty people to come and fix it if they're even going to do that. But
I actually don't care.
I don't
Honestly,
care if
I
they
don't
fix
care.
it either. I honestly don't care. But either way, the kids, right, now have to wash their dishes. And we tell them, as soon as you guys are done eating, you need to go wash that dish. But sometimes I'm like, no, 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 forget it. I'll just do it myself. Because they leave it greasy or it's just half-assed. So I end up rewashing everything anyway. So just leave it there. I'll do it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, even at work sometimes for me, it's like I tell people, hey, when everybody's showing you how to do a job, like take their input and then just make it your own way. But then there's times when after a while they've been there and they're doing stuff. It's like, why are you doing it like that? That's not how I want you to do it like this. Like do it,
The way
like
I see you doing it in my head.
yeah. And I think about the boys immediately because and Gavin Hart making that joke is when he said that I was like I can completely relate to that. Like that's not how I see you doing it in my head. In my head, you're doing it my way. Do it that way.
I know most parents struggle with chores. It has to be. And maybe that's why parents end up doing things for their kids in the end because of that whole, like, forget it. I'll do it better and I'll just do it myself instead of arguing with them. That whole, it saves me a headache if I just do it myself because then I'll have to argue with them. But then they're not teaching the kid a lesson, right?
Yeah. The other thing is on the long run, ladies, if you have male sons, right, and one day they're gonna become men. I mean, unless you really want your daughter-in-law to hate you, then do everything for them. But
It's true. I'm so grateful that you know how to do things for yourself.
no, because it's honestly right. I mean, I've heard. I mean, I know people that their moms did everything for them, or they had mates growing up, right? And as adults, like the wives are just frustrated, like, damn, this guy doesn't do anything, doesn't know how to do anything, like I have to do everything, like no help, no nothing, and I can only imagine how much.
Do you find that more relevant in Hispanic communities?
I don't know, because if you really think about it, right, like how many Mexican men do you know that don't like to cook? Like almost everybody, like carne asada, and they'll make a salsa or they'll make mariachi. Like, think about the men in my family, like or my dad's side of the family.
Well, no, even on my family, because like my uncles, like I had the one
That's
uncle
what I'm
that
getting
passed away.
at.
He
Yeah.
loved to cook.
That's
My
what I'm
dad
getting
loves
at.
to cook.
Yeah, like it's
I think
one
it's
of
just
our
because they
things.
love food.
Okay.
It's just, but I mean, even though like my dad, my grandma did everything for him. Like he didn't have to do anything for himself because she always did everything for him. But again, this comes back to personalities, right?
But that's also a generation thing. It's
well.
not our generation. That's generation before us, right?
Well, yeah, but my dad knows how to do things
yeah.
for himself. Like my dad knows how to iron clothes. My dad knows how to do his laundry. He even learned how to sew, So he knows how to do these things
But
for
your dad was
himself.
a Boy Scout too, so
That's
that
true.
also helped
That's
out.
also true. He was a Boy Scout.
So, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But those are the things that we don't have nowadays. Like most of these kids don't have that shit. Does I mean if it was remember that like my boys, okay, let's say the boys, um, the shoe shining kit. I did it because I was like every man should know how to shine their shoes because if it comes time to an interview, you're gonna need to shine your shoes really
Yeah,
quick,
that's
right?
what you
You
told
want to
them.
look presentable, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna go on a date. You want to make those shoes look nice. You want cowboy boots, and depending on what kind you get, you might want to shine them too.
Well, the
Give it a
14-year-old,
brush.
I've seen him with like a wipey cleaning his sneakers.
Yeah, and then iron. I've put them next to me and shown them how to iron stuff. I haven't let them try it, but they don't care to be ironed. Me as a teenager, I even iron my goddamn undershirts.
I think, yeah, I know. Silliness to me, but I know
Uh,
you're not the only one. I know lots
but
of people who did that.
again, the
Yeah.
military was cakewalk because tomorrow I gotta get my uniform ready for
Yeah.
tomorrow, so I'm gonna iron while I watch my news or my sports or whatever it was.
But
But-
but they also don't wear anything that they have to iron. Like everything's wrinkle free
wrong.
now.
So yeah, but still,
Or they just throw everything in the dryer.
all right. So quick shortcut, but I mean, put that in the dryer, grab another one, and iron, and put them side by side. I'm pretty sure you can tell the difference.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. I mean, ironing's not a thing these days. That's just
Yeah,
one of
but
those.
that's what I'm saying.
not a
It's one of
thing
those things that
anymore.
is dying out, right? So
But there's all these other things that they have to do
yeah,
and should know how to do as men, like you were saying.
yeah, or just as a human being. I mean, everybody. I mean, like I said,
Well, even women, it's true. So many girls out there don't know how to even make some scrambled eggs.
my sister was one of them. I had a sister who couldn't cook eggs for her life for her in the beginning.
Well, and our boys know how to do that, right?
Yeah,
So
better.
our 14-year-old, again, this is go back to when he was younger, when he was in elementary, and his little brother started school. I would ask him. I taught him how to scramble some eggs. I said, "Honey, can you help me scrambling these eggs while I get your brother ready?" He did such a good job, and now he makes his own breakfast.
So right now
I
you
love
said-
it.
I said right now that you're saying that, it makes you think like I've seen those videos where the parents give their kids like a VCR or a tape player or like an old dial phone, and you're like, oh, how do you use this? I'm so glad to say that at least our kids like
They are aware
know.
what all those things are.
Yeah, they're like, oh, like remember when I gave them a can opener and I was like, all right, open that. Like, how would you open this? Like, I want you to think about it. Explain it to
The
me.
camping one, the camping
Yeah.
can opener, yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. So does it? Yeah, look, you squeeze it, you turn it, hold on, pressure, and oh, so cool, And there's another trick, right? And you grab it and you rub it on the ground, and then you can pop it. Like, oh, okay. Survivalist, right?
Yeah.
Like cool things.
But our kids do know how to do, they know what a VCR is. They
And the tape
They
player.
know
Remember when we introduced our? You gave our oldest boy the you find
Walkman.
find that old Walkman and those tapes.
he
Like, here
thought
you
it
go.
was the coolest thing. I had actually old mixtapes, and I gave him my old mixtapes, and he thought they were so awesome. He still has it in his room somewhere.
And it's funny, right? Like, yeah. How did we end up on that one though?
I don't know.
Just teaching them
Just
stuff.
teaching them
Yeah,
stuff.
like, yeah,
Teaching them about things.
So that's kind of like with the thing with chores. You're teaching them something. You're giving them a value to themselves.
It's a life skill.
A lot, yeah. Thank you. A life skill, and you're preparing them to become proper adults, like can depend on themselves and not on people to do everything for them.
So that they're not living in your basement for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
So,
Look, I get it. I love my kids, right? But I know they're gonna have to leave one day, and I
Yeah.
want to feel safe.
you want to know that they left prepared to at least get the basics.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is even following the expectation of a chore. Couldn't that be like a job?
Yeah.
They
It's
go
just-
into a job and they're like, okay, I expect you to have this paper done or this machinery completed by this time.
Right. It's a skill, right? It's like homework.
It's a homework, right?
Right.
It's a chore
It's a chore.
that they have to get done.
But see that starts like if you have a chore and you get your allowance out of it, when you get to work, it's kind of like the same thing. Oh, my chore is to do this, and I keep on. If I do it good, and I do it constantly,
And I think I heard
get
about
paid.
like where parents, and I've heard this argument. Okay, so where parents do pay their kids because of that reason. They're like, okay, so they have a task that they need to complete. and I'm going to pay them for that task because it's getting them prepared for the idea of a job. And I get that. But like you said, we pay them in so many other ways.
Yeah, because I mean, the damn cell phone is not cheap.
No, it's not, especially nowadays.
Yeah, I bought you a cell phone, and I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of your allowance right there, right?
Yeah.
So,
And it's not a necessity. Honestly, cell phones are not a necessity. Not at their age.
no, because I have the time to end up fucking playing video games
just
or
playing
watching
on it.
videos or
Or
whatever.
listening to music. That's all they're doing on it.
Yeah, so
I don't feel, unless your kid is in like lots of sports, super active in school,
or they have to work,
or they go to work,
Yeah.
I don't think a phone is necessary.
Yeah.
And that's why we got him a phone in the first place, was because he
schedule.
was doing after school sports
Yeah, I'm done with
stuff.
practice. Can you pick me up?
Yeah, that's why he had gotten the phone, but he's not doing that right now.
Practice is canceled.
Yeah.
I'll get out normal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he had gotten the phone originally.
Or we're running late. Pick up your little brother and just wait for us at the entrance. We'll be there when we get
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, just for that reason. But other than that, it's the extra perks on a phone, the whole internet, that's what they have computers at home for, or a laptop. So again, you're paying them, like you said, in these other allowances, right? That you allow them to do things. I mean, and I'm sure there's parents out there who don't agree with that because they're going to be like, well, you're a parent. You're supposed to provide those things for them.
Yeah, you're right. You're supposed to provide for them.
But there's lots of people, there's lots of kids who don't get those things. They don't even get breakfast every morning.
But that's the thing, though. Like, if they don't have that molding right now, right? That chore, that work ethic, you're not teaching them that. You just reward them because, oh, they're my baby. Whatever they want, I'll get it for them. Like, as long as I'm alive. Well, you're going to die one day. And what are they going to do once you die? Nobody's going to be buying them everything or paying their bills or getting them out of jail or, paying their rent or paying the car or their electricity or whatever. Like, people like that. I know people like that.
Yeah, I know people like that.
That mommy, daddy, I'm going through a hard time. Can I have some money? Help me out. Bail me out. But if you keep on rewarding kids and you're not teaching them what's going on, you keep on spoiling them. That's why we end up having, like, shitty people in life nowadays.
And
They expect everything.
They expect everything handed to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, I did my job. Give me a big raise. Forget this place. I hate it. It sucks here.
Yeah.
Well, there's a fucking door. Don't let it hit you on the way out.
They don't appreciate the smallest things, right? Because they've been given everything by their parents their whole life.
Yeah.
Or they live off the system and expect the government to give them everything. That's another side. Well, that's another topic. But that's all part of it because there's no responsibility on the parents' part. So if their parents are not responsible, how are the children going to learn to be responsible?
Hey, look at me. I paid my bills. I took care of my kid. Yeah, you're supposed to. Like, that's your job, right? It's not like when you were with your parents that they did everything for you. Like, it goes around. It's the thing. I just think chores is a good molding thing. It's a good experience for every kid. Like, every kid should have a chore and they start learning something and start realizing things.
Even if it's the smallest thing. Like, take away the pets, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't have pets, take out the trash, wash the dishes. Even if it's rinse, like if you have a dishwasher, a mechanical dishwasher, rinse the dishes and put them in it. Wipe the table, set the table, And that's another thing. A lot of families don't eat together, right? So there is no set the table. There's no clean the table because families aren't eating together. We try to eat together. And that's where that chore comes from.
I like eating with my family.
Yeah. I mean, we do on the weekends for sure. But even when you're not here.
Yeah, but even for breakfast, if it's just 2 or 3 of us, I mean, I like that. Because I ate by myself most of my life, like from 7 on, I was always by myself.
What are some chores other people should give their kids?
I remember my first chore.
What's your first chore?
My dad had a Cadillac, and it had like that hubcap, that Cadillac hubcap. So it was like like a 57 Caddy. My dad loved it. I used to call it the Batmobile because it had the big old wings on the back. Mm-hmm. Reminded me of the Adam West thing. But my first chore was to clean the damn hubcap, and I remember like it had to be clean. So I remember like getting my old toothbrush and going in there and scrubbing it. My dad will look at it, be like, all right, you're good. Like, you can move on to the rest of the car.
That's crazy to me. I don't know. But like nowadays, what are other good chores that you could give your kid?
You fold your clothes, hang
Learn
your
to
clothes,
hang. Well, see, like
make
I
your
tell,
bed. Make your bed. I think that's one of the biggest ones. I think
make
make
your
your
bed.
bed. I mean, I wish I knew that one military guy that gave that speech at a graduation, and he talks about the importance of making your bed. I'm gonna look it up sometime. I'll bring it up again. I'll reshare that. I thought that was a great speech.
Okay.
It's a good.
It's true. It's like there's just something about making your bed right. Gets you off on the right foot. I'm thinking even yard work. If you have a yard, mowing the lawn. How many kids mow lawns these days?
Can we trust kids with lawnmowers like those gas
Well,
ones?
now they're electric, so.
No, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like nowadays they have electric lawnmowers, and I mean,
we just got one as a gift.
we did just get one as a gift.
And I was like, yo, thank you. Now your nephews have I feel safe giving them
A lawnmower, I know.
I knew.
Well, like what about the weed whacker? Only the 14-year-old's allowed to use the weed whacker.
Yeah.
Does he do a good job with that?
Yeah. He's actually pretty good. I think he enjoys it. But it's
Again, but these are responsibilities that people could give their kids, right? I mean,
yeah, sweeping, making bed. I think making bed.
Vacuuming.
Vacuuming. That's a big one. I think that was a good one. Sweeping inside. Mopping, or get a Swifter at least. Like.
Our eldest was on the roof cleaning the gutter the other day.
Yeah, which I don't know why. It was the wrong time to do it. Yeah.
I know. He just was up there for some reason, and he decided he was going to clean out the gutter. I was like, hey, thanks.
That was one other thing that I was kind of pissed off to the other day, because I had asked him if I had a little accident in the car where I spilled some sunflower seeds. And I had asked him if he could, just give me if he can vacuum it for me,
Mm-hmm.
I was asking him for like a favor, instead of being a dad and saying, "Hey, go vacuum my car."
Mm-hmm.
And he's, "Oh no, I can't. I got homework to do." I was like, "You had all weekend and you couldn't. Now you have homework." So it really bothered me. It pissed me off, because when he wants things from me, he expects it right there and then to get it going. And I'm like, so I had to drop everything for you, but you can't do this for me.
So in that moment, should you have made him do it then?
Well, I understood that it was homework, and you brought it up too. It was like, oh yeah, he has a project.
He told me he
you
had
shut me
homework.
up with that, and that's why I was like, all right.
But then you noticed that within an hour, he was in the kitchen showing me something that had nothing to do with his homework. And you could have reminded him at that time, like, hey, since you don't have homework to do anymore, please go do that now.
I was already pissed off, and I was bothered, and I was already late. So, but I mean, I would have never told my dad no. I mean, my dad would never have to ask me to wash the damn car. I already knew what my chores were. I had to get on it because I was afraid of my dad. I was afraid of letting him down or feeling disappointed. Or
do you think that's the problem with kids these days? They don't fear or respect their parents in any shape or form?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Because I don't know if you noticed today, like there was a couple of times he answered me like with a little bit of a tone.
Yeah, and you're like, hey, you better not talk to me like that or change your tone.
Yeah, better change your tone.
But he apologized, which is better than I get. I get like, I didn't give you a tone. That's what I get. I get more tone. You get an apology. I don't get an apology.
Well, you know what? I'm going to buy me another magical belt. This is a great magical belt. It makes food disappear. It makes chores get done.
We need a his and hers.
Yeah. No, he's like, oh, I'm going to go get your dad's magic belt. And I was like, oh, he's wearing it at work today. He's like, he has a backup. And just, they see that thick leather belt. I always joke with that thing. And people, food disappears, homework gets done. And chores get done.
It's true.
When I'm really frustrated, I'm like, hey.
For me, it's frustrating that I have to threaten them with a phone call to you or a text. And this is more with the littles, the younger ones, where I'm like, okay, all right. I've already told you 3 times. I've asked you nicely. And before I get mad, I'm going to text your dad. No. Please don't text that. I'll do it right now. Just don't text this is a 6-year-old especially. She says, don't text dad. Don't call him. Don't call. I'll go do it right now. And she gets up and she goes and gets it done, whatever it is, because she doesn't want me to text you or she doesn't want me to call you. So it's, I just have to threaten her. I just have to use you. I don't even have to threaten with anything else. But I get mad. I get frustrated that I have to get to that level.
Yeah.
Like why can't you guys just respect me enough as your mother to do what I asked you to do the first time?
I'll never understand that. To be honest, because I've seen it, plenty of times. I don't know what is it. Is it because you spend
not
enough
mean
time
enough?
with them?
I don't know.
Because they tell you, even the girls sometimes like, you're so mean.
They
right?
tell me I mean, but like I watch like those I watch those things you send me from Instagram or YouTube or whatever you send me, where it's like that Latin mom with the chancla and like she's cursing at her kids and the kids are afraid for their life and they get everything done right away. And I'm not that mom, and I feel like, is that what I need to be like for them to get things done the first time?
You know what? I guess it's time for the chocolate to make an appearance in this house.
I'm gonna have to learn how to use a chancla.
It comes naturally. It should be somewhere in your DNA.
It's somewhere in my DNA.
Somewhere in there.
And the Hispanic DNA
yeah,
somewhere. Oh my gosh. It's just extremely frustrating. I'm sure other parents out there definitely go through this where you just get tired of fighting with the kids.
I know what I'm gonna get you for Valentine's Day now.
You're gonna give me a chancla?
Or I can have somebody like that goes down to Sinaloa or Durango or somewhere and down
Get me the leather ones.
Get you the Goodyear, the tire, the Trayusuela, like the tire, like.
That's horrible. It's extreme. It is. It's just. It's one thing to give them the chores. It's another thing to make sure they do them. And what's the best way to make it happen?
And hang in to people and let us know, please. Let us know how you like. Do your kids have chores? How many do they have, or which one do you think is the most fundamental about them? When is it too soon, or when's the right age to start giving out chores?
I don't think there's a too soon. I think once they're old enough to understand and just follow simple direction, like pick up your toys, right?
Oh my goodness!
Pick up the gosh darn toys.
Yeah. That's the one we're dealing with the girls right now. It's mainly the baby. She loves taking out all the toys and throwing them out there, and she just can't pick them up afterwards.
And we try to make a game of it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, yeah, I've even threatened to throw them all away. Okay. And that was our 10-year-old. Our 10-year-old used to be exactly the same way when he was little, and he would make a mess, and I'm going to throw away your toys. He would literally take them to the trash and put them in the trash. Instead of putting them in a bin, he would take his toys to the trash.
That's just crazy.
Now, our 4-year-old has not done that yet, but she reminds me of the 10-year-old when he was that age.
See, that just tells me that maybe I do buy them too many damn toys. So like, I don't care. Dad's going to buy me more.
It's true. Maybe that's the thing, is they don't worry about it.
That's a reality check for me right there, right now. Yeah, man. I guess I'm gonna have to stop with them buying them toys.
I think we've rambled enough.
Yeah, we went. This is a really long one, but it's good. I mean, it's like I said, it's chores.
I mean, our kids have chores. The point being, our kids have chores. We had chores, and we think chores are important.
Kids need chores.
They need chores.
It's necessary. It's necessary. You want to have good human beings. I know I've said it before, and I'm going to keep on saying it. In my mind, everybody needs those chores. Everybody needs to do something. Everybody needs to be responsible.
They need to understand that they have a place in their little tribe.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Your responsibility within this household is this, because we are a family unit.
Yeah, you're not entitled. You're not entitled.
No.
No, just because mommy and daddy, they buy you everything, or you haven't made, you're not entitled. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn what you're getting. You gotta show them that you appreciate.
That's what it is. It's appreciation.
Yeah, and if you feel like it's kids, if you're listening, and if you feel like it's a demand from your parents, it's like, no. How about you just show your parents you love them by saying,
and
hey,
you
know
appreciate.
What? I appreciate everything you've done for me, mom, or for the single moms out there, or the single dads, or dad, or stepdad or stepmom, or grandma that's racing me or grandpa. It's like, or my uncle that, step up to the plate or whatever, It's like,
Whoever's raising you.
yeah, whoever's racing you, whoever's there, who takes care of you, drives you to school, makes sure you're fed and that you're clothed, that, you make your extracurricular activities, whatever, like those people in your life that love you and care for you and have been there for you. Like, if they ask you to do something, it's not because they want to make your life miserable when it comes to helping around the house. It's because you're part of the tribe and you have to, everybody pitches in and everybody helps out. And it's just a way of saying, you know what, thank you, I appreciate you,
Yeah. And parents giving their kids stuff.
Parents do, because they love them and they appreciate them too, right?
Right. We, like you said earlier, we want to give our kids something better than what we had growing up.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why we give them a lot of things. But at the same time, we shouldn't feel obligated to pay them or give them things for participating in the tribe. Thank you. If you made it this far, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for joining us once again. Hope you have a great one. Appreciate you. And be safe out there. Keep your head all straight. I know these kids are driving us crazy.
Yeah, just if you've got kids who don't want to do their chores, honestly, we can't tell you what's the best way because we're struggling with the same thing. But if you're a parent out there who has got this down, please inform us so we can inform others what's the best way to do this. Thanks for listening.
Continue to send your requests and check in on the Instagram, send us some emails. See you next week.
Take care.
Peace.